Is liberty dying where you live? Escape to Keene at freekeene.com.
Should be two complaints.
These are two complaints for having an unregistered vehicle, and
The failure display has already been malpraced, Your Honor.
okay, so that one's done. So we have two complaints here for having an unregistered vehicle.
Yes, Your Honor, a truck and a trailer.
Okay.
May I proceed?
You may.
Statement called Dwayne Chickering to the stand. Mr. Chickering, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to the pains and penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please take a seat and introduce yourself to the court, spelling your last name for the record?
My name is Dwayne Chickering, Chickering.
And what is the nature of your current employment, Mr. Chickering?
I'm a lieutenant with the Chesterfield Police.
How long have you been with the Chesterfield Police?
Just over about 11 years. I have 20 years in law enforcement.
Where were you prior to Chesterfield?
I work for the Keene Police Department and the Los Angeles Police Department.
Are you a certified police officer in the state of New Hampshire?
I am.
Now, drawing your attention to July 20th, 2011 at about 2:20 in the afternoon, were you on duty at that time?
I was.
Were you in uniform?
I was.
What was the nature of your assignment?
I was uniform patrol for the day shift in Chesterfield.
How did this matter involving the defendant come to your attention initially?
I received a phone call from the administrator requesting that I slide down to the boat landing to check on a re-patrol officer. Apparently he was serving summonses to someone who was uncooperative.
When you say the administrator, who was that?
My secretary, Penny Cooper.
So how did you respond to this information? What did you do?
I drove down to the boat landing to look for the boats at the boat landing.
Where is the boat landing?
The boat landing is located off of South Shore Road in Spofford, New Hampshire.
Your Honor, the statement asks that the court would take judicial notice that South Shore Road is away in the state of New Hampshire.
Well,
So, how did you respond? What did you do?
I didn't see any boats. I didn't see any boats at the landing. I didn't see anybody in the parking lot. So I contacted dispatch to see if we can obtain any further information from the Marine Patrol. I was ultimately linked through from a sergeant from the New Hampshire Marine Patrol. Apparently, the officer was serving summonses to a person on the boat, and they said they were free staters, and the officer just wanted me to stand by the boat landing.
So you were there in capacity to offer assistance potentially?
Yes.
Okay. Eventually, what did you see? What happened?
After a short while, the officer from Marine Patrol started to drive in, and I recognized him as Officer Brigatano from the New Hampshire Marine Patrol.
Is he in the boat?
Yes.
Did you have a conversation with him?
I did. He said that he had a boat coming in that was unregistered and had other violations, and should be here shortly.
Okay.
And there was also a conversation of the person that was driving the boat saying that they don't register vehicles.
At some point, did this motorboat in question come to the shore?
Well, actually, once I heard that, I drove up into the parking lot, and there wasn't a lot of vehicles in there, but I saw a silver Dodge truck with a red trailer attached to it. The truck didn't have a front plate, so I got out of the car and I looked at the license plate, and I saw that it had a Tennessee license plate. It showed to be expired as of February of 2011.
Okay.
And on the trailer, I also noticed that there was no license plate on it.
Did you see a registration sticker on the trailer?
No.
Permission to approach, Your Honor? Just take a look at those two documents. What do you see in those documents? What are they?
I see a Dodge truck with a Tennessee license plate of 684 V Victor Q Queen Z Zebra, and I see a red trailer and a boat attached to the trailer.
Are those, is that the vehicle you're just testifying about?
Yes, sir.
Is that those pictures represent a fair and accurate representation of that vehicle, its plate, and the trailer on July 20, 2011?
Yep.
Your Honor, the statement asks to introduce these full exhibits, states 1 and 2.
does Ms. Seven have any objection?
No, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Senator Chickering, drawing your attention to State's Exhibit number 2. Do Do you see any New Hampshire registration stickers on that license plate?
I do not.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to interact with anyone after making these observations of that truck?
I did.
And who was that?
That would have been the operator of the pickup truck, Michele Seven, who's even the defendant's chair.
Your Honor, the state would ask, let the record reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant as Michele Seven.
You will.
Okay. What was your conversation with Ms. Seven?
During the course of my initial conversation with Ms. Seven, I asked her if her truck and trailer were registered, and she said that she had just gotten her truck a ticket for an unregistered on her truck, and she was okay to drive, and she was going to court on that ticket.
And you were talking about this truck in question here?
Yes, sir.
And how was she identified?
She indicated that she had already had.
I'd actually like to object to that, because that was not part of that conversation.
Well, you're gonna have a chance to cross-examine him.
Oh, don't
And
I
then
get
you're,
to
and then you're
object?
also gonna have a chance to testify on your own behalf. I was just trying to see if I understood this correct. She indicated to you that she already had a prior complaint for unregistered?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that had been taken care of, or?
That she was going to court for it, and she was okay to drive.
So wait, don't I get to object because that conversation didn't take place at that time?
But that's not the basis for an objection.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The procedure is you're gonna cross-examine him and ask him about this conversation.
Okay.
Then when you get up here, you're gonna be able to say that conversation never happened.
Okay, thanks.
So essentially, just clarifying, that statement is attributed to Ms. Seven. When did that statement occur?
I recall that statement happening at the boat landing.
Okay.
I remember at one point, she had talked about some of the paperwork, I believe, with the registration. But at one point, she also said that could she just tie the boat down and bring it up into the parking lot itself. So my recollection was it was in the beginning of my conversation.
Okay, so what did you do next after making these observations that you just testified to and having this conversation? What was your next step?
I asked for a license, and she had told me that the officer from Marine Patrol had the license. So I was given a Tennessee license with Ms. Seven's name on it, and I allowed the truck and the trailer and the boat to be pulled up into the parking lot. And I ran the the license plate through spots, and it came back not on file, meaning I ran the plate, it doesn't come back as anything. So I had dispatch contact the Tennessee authorities, and they were able to tell me that it was a 2006 Dodge truck, was registered to Michele Seven out of a Nashville, Tennessee address. It was also provided a VIN number with that. They read that to me, and I matched that VIN number with the VIN number I obtained off the pickup truck.
So that truck was the same truck you were looking
Yeah,
at?
that plate belongs on that truck.
Okay. Then you testified that the vehicle was actually in motion towing the trailer. Who was driving that vehicle?
Ms. Seven.
And that was on South Shore Road?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Yep.
Take a look at this document, and what do you recognize that to be?
It's from the Tennessee Department of Revenue, Taxpayer Vehicle Services. It's the registration for Michele Seven.
Okay. Is there a stamp or any indication that that document is certified?
There is a stamp on the front that says this is a certified, this is a true and correct copy, 26th day of March 2012, State of Tennessee, Department of Revenue, Taxpayer and Vehicle Services.
Your Honor, the state would ask to introduce this document as State's Exhibit 3.
Does Ms. Seven have any objection?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. So drawing your attention to State's Exhibit 3, if you could just walk through, beginning at the top, what information do you see with regard to last name, first name, et cetera?
Last name is Seven, first to Michele, and then has an address of 1314 7th Avenue, Nashville, Tennessee, 37208 zip code. Out of the county of Davidson. She purchased the vehicle, looks like on June 15th, 2006.
What type of vehicle is this registration for?
It's for a 2006 Dodge Ram 4-door.
Okay, and what's the license plate that this vehicle, this registration is for?
It's for 684 V Victor Q Queen Z Zebra.
You know, drawing your attention back to State's Exhibit number 2, you mentioned in the registration the county was Davidson. Do you see the word Davidson on that license plate?
I do.
Okay.
I also show an expiration date of 2/28 of 2011.
And does that match the sticker you observed in that State's Exhibit 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to show you the document. You just take a look at that and explain in general what that document purports to be.
It's in reference to a 2006 Dodge with the same VIN number from the state of Tennessee.
Is there an indication on the cover there that those documents are certified from the state of Tennessee?
It says that with respect to each and every document provided, the undersigned is authorized in Tennessee Code annotated 55-2-105 to prepare a certified copy thereof.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
The state would ask to introduce this packet of documents as State's Exhibit 4.
Does Ms. Seven have any objection?
And it's this packet right here. I just want to make sure that it's the same packet.
It's that one on your left hand, so that one.
And this, okay, thank you.
No
Any
objection?
No objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lieutenant Chickering, drawing your attention to State's Exhibit 4. In that packet, do you see a copy of a title from the state of Nevada?
Yes, I do.
And what is that title for? What kind of vehicle?
It's for 2006 Dodge Ram 2500,
And who was the title issued to?
Michele Seven.
Okay. And using State's Exhibit 3 as a cross-reference, is that the same VIN number of the vehicle for which there's a certified copy of Tennessee registration?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You can put those down, Lieutenant Chickering. No further questions, Your Honor.
Does Ms. Seven have any questions of Officer Chickering?
I do.
Okay.
First of all, you said that you received a phone call.
Ms. Seven?
I understand that you, from what you said, that you received a phone call saying that there was a commotion basically involving a Free Stater?
Not initially. It was a person that was being uncooperative. There's no mention of that.
Okay. And so then when you called back,
Right.
then there was mention that it was involved a Free Stater.
Correct.
Would you mind defining what a Free Stater, what you understand a Free Stater means?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Because, well, actually, I would suggest that there is some prejudice there because you seem to adjust your attitude based and your behavior based on that fact that once you were told that there was a Free Stater involved, then you continued to stay there and look for more information when in fact there hadn't been a boat that had arrived on the dock in the first place, which is why you called back a second time.
You can answer why you called back a second time, but I didn't hear anything that would indicate that he called back a second time because there was a Free Stater involved.
No, he remained.
I think he called back a second time because he didn't see a boat and didn't know
That's correct, Your Honor.
what he was supposed to be doing.
Right, exactly. And then when he heard that there was a Free Stater involved, then you stayed.
The officer, the information was the officer wanted to stand by until he got back to land.
Okay, so being labeled a Free Stater, I'm just curious as to what.
And again, Your Honor, I object to the relevance. It's not relevant to what it was.
I will sustain the objection.
Okay, am I gonna be allowed to call him?
No.
I'm not. Did you run the VIN number on the trailer? No. So is there any proof that that trailer belongs to me? So at what point do I ask for a
Dismissal?
a dismissal for the trailer part of it?
Oh, you can ask for a dismissal when the state rests, and you can ask for a dismissal again when you have finished your testimony.
Okay. So there's no proof that you have that that trailer belongs to me?
Correct.
Okay. And did you, when did you first see me that day?
Coming in on the boat.
Coming in on the boat? And then what did you see after that?
You brought the boat in. and
Well,
then-
someone had to get off the boat to get the truck and trailer.
Right.
So did you see me get off the boat?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Bless you. And did you tell me that I needed to remove the boat from the water?
No.
You and the officer that was with you, who was an undercover police officer, did not tell me that I needed to remove the boat from the water, as per the instructions of the Romanov, or the Marine Patrol guy.
I wouldn't tell you to take the boat off the water.
So when I came up and I was in a bathing suit and wearing flip-flops, had flip-flops on my hand, and you approached me, you did not tell me that to remove the boat from the water and then we would talk.
I think that the way in which you're saying it, I don't recall any of that conversation, so I wouldn't tell you to remove it. I think you told me when I started to ask you about your truck, when the truck and trailer was back down, you asked me to wait a minute because you wanted to take care of the boat first. But I wouldn't tell you to order you to take the boat off the water. That might have been the Marine Patrol officer, but it was not me.
Okay. So, and I stand corrected, I mean, it could have been him that was telling me to remove the boat from the water.
I don't have anything to do with boats.
Right. Okay, so when I was then you saw me take the truck and the trailer and back down and put the boat onto the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said that we had this conversation, which I said took place later. Can you refresh me on exactly?
My understanding was it was there when I asked you about was your truck registered or your trailer was registered, because if you had stickers, you just didn't put them on, that you could have just said you had stickers on there. But the conversation I recall was down there at the boat landing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had many more conversations up in the parking lot. So,
Yes.
But my recollection was down at the boat landing.
Okay, so, we recall things differently there, so I guess I get a chance to say something like that afterwards, right? Then, who demanded that my vehicle be towed?
Objection, relevance here, I think it's not the issue before the court, the issue is whether the car is registered.
I'll let it, until now I didn't realize the vehicle had been towed, but you may answer.
It's common practice to tow vehicles that are unregistered.
And you phoned the tow company?
Did I what?
Did you phone the tow
I
company?
requested the company.
Yes. And do you recall the name of the tow company?
Objection, again, I'm objecting.
Sustained, does it make any difference?
Yes, it does make a difference that he chose one particular tow company over another.
And how is that relevant to this case here?
Because the place to which the boat and truck and trailer were towed was said to be illegal, and they were subsequently towed from where the tow truck left them, at my expense.
That's not part of this. You might have a grievance about that, but that's not part of this case.
I would like to establish that he was the one that called the particular tow truck company, and he was the one that said that it was to be towed to my house, or to wherever I said I'd like to have it towed. That was not me making that phone call, that it was Officer Chicken.
I'm going to let him answer. I'm not sure it's relevant.
I'm not sure which tow company was called off the top of my head, but I was the one that requested the tow company, and I'm the one that told you you can tow it to any place that you want to take it to.
Okay, would I have been able to have them tow it to the middle of the street and leave it there?
Your Honor, I would object again on the
So
relevance.
sustain, now that's,
The issue before
Well,
the court
just
is
to
whether
specify-
now clearly that's not relevant.
Well, to specify, you said, I just want clarification, because you said that I could have it towed anywhere I want, but that doesn't that's not true. I can't have it towed anywhere I want, right?
Your Honor,
I mean, there has to be some degree of reasonableness in the whole matter.
I mean, I agree with you, but I would just like to clarify that he said anywhere I want, and that is not in fact true.
Continue, I don't see how that's relevant.
Can we just clarify that I can't?
Apparently the vehicle was towed. When you come up here to testify, you can tell me where it was towed to, and if you have a grievance, you can tell me about it.
Okay, well, I guess I don't have any other,
If there are no other questions, do you have any further questions?
Brief redirect, Your Honor.
Check on it.
You also have your question?
yes, you have to redirect them while I have a chance to.
Yes.
If you-
There's on cross, there was a discussion about a trailer. Now, what kind of, were you able to discern what the make of the trailer was?
The make was like a Zeman make, and MB Sports was the model.
MB Sports?
MB Sports.
Okay, and how did you determine that?
There is a sticker on the side that said the manufacturer of Zeman, and then MB Sports is on the neck of the trailer.
And this trailer was attached to the silver Dodge that we've been talking about the whole time?
Yes.
And to clarify, you didn't see any plates, stickers, anything on that?
Nothing to show re-registration on the trailer.
And did you observe that trailer in motion on South Shore Road?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
So, did you, give me a ticket for not having a registered trailer?
Yes.
You did not, though, seek any information to establish whether or not that trailer was in fact owned by me, if it was stolen, or any sort of information about using like VIN numbers or anything like you did with the truck?
There was no VIN number I could find on the trailer. And I assumed that it was your trailer because you said it was your boat. So, and they looked like they're the same color, so I assumed it was yours, and I didn't think you would be stealing trailers.
Well, I guess that's nice, I guess. So just to answer the question, you did not do anything to determine whether or not I, in fact, did own the trailer prior to you giving me the ticket for it?
Correct.
Okay.
Just one question. Did you see anyone else operating the silver Dodge truck besides Ms. Seven?
No.
State restaurant.
Okay, you may step down. Ms. Seven, want to come up and testify?
Sure. Oh, shoot. I have another question. Is that possible?
We'll deal with that. Just to diffuse the issue, what was the next question going to be?
I just was curious as to whether or not Officer Chickering has read the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics and whether or not he ascribes to that code.
And I will sustain the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're good. Now you can. Okay, you're already under oath.
Yes.
Okay, state your name for the record and tell me your side of the story.
My name is Michele Seven. So on the day that we were discussing, I was out on the lake with several friends, some of whom are in the room right now, and we were boating, and the Marine Patrol officer flagged me down, and he got his feelings hurt because I knew more about boating than he did, and so he got his feathers ruffled a little bit, and we were filming him, the interaction, and I was not being uncooperative, as the lawyer said here. He had my driver's license. I was bringing my boat back toward the dock, so I think that's being cooperative. In any case, I got off the boat and got out into the water and then up, And that's when I saw Officer Chickering and the other police officer who was undercover, and I don't know his name. But in any case, it's my recollection that I was told that I needed to remove the boat from the water. And so we had a bit of a conversation, and then he said, okay, well, why don't we'll talk about it after you get the boat out. So it was my understanding that I was being ordered to remove the boat from the water, which I did. Up until that point, neither Officer Chickering nor the other officer had seen me drive the truck, take around a trailer. In fact, I wasn't even the driver of the boat at the time. So I backed the trailer, put the boat on it, and Officer Chickering was trying to talk to me through the window, and I was getting a little frustrated because there were like 6 people I was responsible for on this boat, and getting it pulled out. It weighs, I think, 9 tons. It's heavy and it's cumbersome. And I said, just a second. And so we went ahead, pulled it up. But until that time, no one had witnessed me driving on a roadway in the state of New Hampshire that day, the truck, the trailer, or the boat. But I was the one that was ordered to remove it from the water. And then the so then I went ahead and pulled it up, and I didn't give really any paperwork. There was the license plate that was from Tennessee. I had a conversation with Dwayne about the renewal of that, and if you actually look, can I refer to this?
You sure may.
Says here on the paperwork, it's the one that says, it has a seal and says State of Tennessee Department of Revenue at the top, Taxpayer and Vehicle Services Division. Says this is to acknowledge receipt of an application for title and or registration on the referenced vehicle. Due to improper documentation, this application cannot be approved. Surrender the outstanding Nevada certificate of title. Upon receipt of the foreign title, we will immediately direct the Tennessee certification of title to you. So I'm not really sure how this isn't accurate, because I have the certificate of title for Tennessee. So I'm not really sure how, and had to, or from Nevada, and I had to submit that at the time that I was when I initially filed to get the vehicle registered.
Right.
And then subsequently was told that it wasn't registered by the DMV, despite having the plates, despite having paid the fees, despite having the sticker. So it made for the renewal of it to be impossible. That's really neither here nor there, but it's not really accurate what is put here. So in any case, I pulled out of the water and pulled up into the parking lot, and my friends were there. There was some filming, and Officer Chickering called and had the tow truck come, and typically they attach, that would be considered 2 vehicles, the truck and the trailer, but the tow truck driver gave me a cash discount.
Objection, Your Honor. I think the speculation, talking about typically what tow drivers do, hearsay.
It probably is irrelevant. It might be hearsay, but I'm going to let it continue. Just move the case forward.
So in any case, so he agreed to, if I would pay cash at the time that it was towed, that he would allow for there to be a charge for only 1 vehicle.
Okay.
And 2 of my children, who neither one's here in court today, they're in school, But anyway, they drove home with the truck driver, and he parked the truck, trailer, and boat on the street out in front of my home, where I was, and I was told that I was
Oh, really? It was
not-
very nice of him, wasn't it?
Well, I paid him to do that. So I paid him to do, I guess, what he was supposed to do. However, I was told that I was not to drive the truck until it was registered from that point on, as per the instructions.
Probably good advice.
Well, yeah, but then I couldn't move it and it got towed again. How about that? So in any case, that's the end of my story. Now I'm just going to ask you to.
But now you haven't really, you know, you're in here charged with owning 2 unregistered vehicles, basically a trailer that there has been very minimal amount of evidence on, and a truck that, you know, apparently belongs to you.
Regarding the trailer.
You know, based on what I've heard here, you haven't told me why you're not guilty of this unregistered truck.
Regarding the trailer, as I said, I think that should be dismissed because obviously the state has not proved that I own that trailer, so, and they have the obligation to do that. Regarding the truck, I absolutely own it. I'm of the mind that I ought to be able to travel freely, and as long as I don't harm anyone with my vehicles, then I should be free to travel at will.
Without registering it?
Absolutely.
Well, I just got to ask a simple question. It's probably going to open up a big can of worms. But why should you be allowed to do this and the rest of the world has to pay to have their vehicles registered?
Well, actually, I'm glad that you asked. I'm trying to, I have a petition that I've been sending around, and only 2 people have refused to sign it. One, a free stater, and another, a woman who believes that we should raise all taxes on everyone so that the poor can have better services, is what she said to me. But I have hundreds of people that have signed a petition saying that they too believe that vehicle registration should be abolished, and that...
But you do acknowledge that at this point in time, the law in the state of New Hampshire is that you need to have if you're going to have a vehicle here, it needs to be registered.
According to the law, it's for the purpose of public safety, I think is what you told me, and there is no evidence that having a registered vehicle versus a non-registered registered vehicle actually will result in greater safety or not greater safety. I mean, the person who was just murdered or killed or whatever by the police officers was driving a stolen Mercedes, but it was registered. It didn't prevent it didn't prevent him from stealing it. It didn't prevent him from driving it as allegedly as a getaway car. So my vehicle has never been used to do any crimes, etc. And I think that if it's for the purpose of public safety, the burden is on the state to prove that it in fact
if you want to change a law, you're in the wrong form.
Well, actually, I'm hoping that you'll nullify it, because you can do that, and I think that that's a fantastic.
That would be a great solution if I were inclined to do that. And guess what? Do you have anything further you want to add?
No, thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Seven.
Good afternoon.
So I think you've already testified. You own that truck in question, right?
I do.
It's not registered.
Correct.
Wasn't registered back then.
Nope.
Okay. You don't
It
intend
wasn't
to...
even registered like when they gave me the plate for it. Obviously,
Yeah.
they said it wasn't. Yeah.
And you, sounds like you pretty much never intend to register it, correct?
Never.
Okay. Now let's talk about the trailer. Do you own that trailer?
Well, isn't it now? I would say that you're asking me to testify against myself.
You want to take the Fifth Amendment? Take the Fifth?
Sure, I'll take the Fifth.
Okay. You would admit that the trailer was attached to your vehicle, correct?
Yes.
So your vehicle was in control of the trailer that day, July 20th? Meaning to move the trailer, you move the vehicle?
To move the trailer, you move the vehicle. That is one way that you move the trailer, yes, is by
Okay.
the vehicle.
And
But you can use all sorts of vehicles to move that, as is evidenced by the fact that the tow truck moved it also. But the tow truck driver didn't own the trailer either.
And you would agree with me that you can take South Shore Road as the entrance road into that boat landing in Spofford?
Wait, I didn't.
South Shore Road is the roadway to the entrance of that boat
Yes.
landing?
Yes.
Okay. And whether or not you own the trailer, which you won't admit to, you won't testify to, you permitted, did you drive the vehicle down into the boat landing?
I don't recall that, quite honestly. I mean, I drive the boat and I drive the truck, and sometimes my kids back it down, sometimes friends back it down. It just depends. I don't remember what the water level was. I don't remember if there were other people that were in the lanes, because there were 2 lanes for boats, so I don't recall.
Okay. Whether it was you or someone else, you permitted somebody to use your truck to move the trailer, correct? And you can't recall whether you were driving or someone else, but somebody used your truck that you owned to move the trailer, right?
Are you asking me?
That's correct, right?
Because you don't know.
I'm asking you, that's correct.
You don't have any evidence of how the boat got under the water.
Whether you own your truck, correct?
Yes?
Yes.
I own the boat.
You own the boat.
Yeah,
Who knows who owns the trailer?
right.
The trailer's connected to the car, the truck that you own.
It was at the time when I put the boat on the trailer, yes.
And I asked you July 20th, 2011, about 2. You wouldn't answer you can't recall how the trailer got down to the boat landing, correct? Whether you were driving or somebody else.
Right.
But you would agree with me whether you're driving or you permitted someone else to drive your truck. They were moving the trailer in question when they were operating your vehicle, right?
Well, are you certain that the boat wasn't on the water already that day?
With regard to the trailer.
Right now, he's not certain of anything. He
But-
wasn't there. He's just asking you what you know.
Right, but I thought that the state has the obligation to prove everything and that I just have to defend myself. I'm not aware that I have to make a case for the
The state
state.
has an obligation to prove it, but once you decide you want to take the stand, you're fair game for questions.
Well,
You could have sat right there and said nothing.
Fair game, that's rather ominous sounding, but okay.
Well, it's-
I'm fair game.
So, again-
Shoot!
Again, you're under oath.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Did you or somebody else use your truck to move the trailer on that day, yes or no?
Yes,
Yes. And you own the truck?
I do own the truck,
Okay. And that was on South Shore Road, correct?
correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want to start asking you to dismiss things.
Pardon?
No, when do I get to start asking you to dismiss things?
As far as, okay.
Brief argument with regard to the trailer, Your Honor, before you decide. 26140, the registration statute, I'll read it to the court, is a violation for any person to drive or any owner or custodian to only permit to cause to be driven on the ways of the state any vehicle which is not specifically exempt by statute from rule or requirement of registration. So the issue of whether she owns the trailer or not, it's whether she permitted someone else to move the vehicle, the trailer, or she owns it. Either way, she's in default. She testified at the end there, her car, whether it was her or somebody else, someone moved the trailer with her car on the way. So the state would argue it hits all elements of the trailer complaint right there. Thank you.
Okay. Now, you finish testifying, you can go back and have a seat.
Okay.
Now, you're going to probably ask me to dismiss the complaint regarding the trailer,
Yes.
okay?
Particularly in light of the fact that I was offered a plea deal and that included
Don't
having that
tell
dismissed.
me what the plea deal was.
Oh, sorry. There are so many rules, I'm sorry.
We're trying to help you. Anything, do you have any further evidence?
No. I
Okay.
still would like to be able to ask the officer, though, if he ascribes to the police's code of ethics.
No, the evidence has been submitted. Question is there anything else that you want to add? I know you want to dismiss, you would like to have the case regarding the trailer dismissed. And I will take that under advisement, so is there anything else that you wish to add?
No.
Case submitted?
Yes.
Okay.
Submitted, Your Honor.
I'm going to enter a finding of guilty on the complaint for having an unregistered vehicle, the truck.
Yes.
The fine on that is $103.33. I'm going to place the other matter on file. And as soon as the fine is paid on the unregistered truck, I will dismiss the complaint for the unregistered trailer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I don't get to ask you to nullify the whole thing based on the
You
fact that...
You've asked me to nullify it, and I have denied that request.
Okay.
But at this point in time, the law in the state of New Hampshire is that the vehicles are to be registered, and that
I'm going
Law
to
is
keep,
the
each
state.
time I come in here, though, I'm going to keep asking you every time to nullify the law.
okay?
I think that's the great power that judges have in this country, and that you get to be the fourth arm of the government. You and
Okay, now,
and the jurors.
Are you prepared to pay that fine today?
I'm going to plan to appeal this, so how does that work out?
Okay, well, they'll give you the paperwork, because your appeal is to the state Supreme Court. I think you get something like 3 days in which to perfect an appeal.
And do I do that in Concord, or do they do that here?
No. Well, that's Mr. Clerk.
It'll be in Concord. They'll give you information when you go to the
Okay, thanks. And then, let's say that they do not accept my appeal or refuse my appeal or whatever, and the $103 fine sticks. Would you be interested in allowing me? I've spent time in jail already for the other one rather than pay the fine. But both those situations, that seems to punish the people of Keene, and I have no wish to do that. So since what you seek is remedy for the community that I have supposedly harmed in this, could I do some volunteer work or some charitable activity in the community?
You have the opportunity to make out a financial affidavit like everybody else that comes before the court, and if I find that you are in financial need, I will consider community service.
I'm not
If I
in
find that you
financial
are
need.
financially able to pay the fine, I will not let you do it with community service.
Would you allow me to make a donation to like the 100 Night Shelter or something in lieu of paying the state? Make a donation to them for the $103? I'd be happy to do that.
It's actually illegal, Your Honor. There's an opinion that came from the Attorney General. Can't do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, would you mind just letting me know what that is like? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it creates a bias and everything. It creates an incentive for the police to arrest people to get, funding for nonprofits and stuff. So it's illegal.
Rather than generating revenue, I keep stuttering. I can't even. Rather than arresting them to generate revenue for the state, it creates a prejudice. Do you have a reference that I can look that up?
I don't.
Well, I don't necessarily believe it then, because I've seen people make contributions to charities and things in lieu of paying fines, and I've actually seen Judge Burke here from this very courtroom give people the option of doing that. So is there some?
Okay, well,
some kind of look
I guess what we'll do is the first thing, you're going to make out the paperwork here to take their appeal to the Supreme Court.
So just so I'm clear about the other, so this is either I pay $103, plus I'm sure there's some sort of other fee attached to that.
No, it's $103.33. You pay that, and the other matter gets dismissed.
There isn't a court fee on top of that?
No.
Okay, so either I pay that or I file an appeal. If I file the appeal, am I filing it for just the vehicle registration on the truck, or do I, because there isn't anything to file for the other one, right?
placed on file. I guess you can, with a condition, you probably can take an appeal saying that it should have been dismissed with no conditions.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. All right.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.